Hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728, and I wanted to talk about the fact that a lot of things, I guess since forever, they're really only stupid when poor people do them. Let's say, for example, saggy jeans, saggy pants, pants with the belts that are not done. It's stupid. We all know it's stupid. Except for the people who do it, of course. Why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. Except that it's poor people for the most part. That's where the fashion came about. So that isn't the reason why it's stupid. Well, let's look at this, for example. High heels. Are high heels an intelligent fashion accessory? Are they a good idea? Is it a good idea to have to learn how to walk in stilted shoes? I don't think that it's a good idea, but millions, if not billions of women all over the planet have decided, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me do this. And I would venture to say that it's because it's something that rich people do. That we look at it and say, oh, these are, and this is a word that is from the UK, our betters. I don't know if you've ever seen any English or British dramas or comedies, but that's what, let's say, the butler might say to the other staff. Like, you better look up to your betters or have nothing bad to say about your betters. These people aren't your betters. They're wealthy or they have more money than you. That's pretty much it. They never took a class. Did they take classes to be better? No, they took classes to learn different habits that people associate with being better. Did they actually learn how to be better, to be kinder, to be more knowledgeable? Across the board, I wouldn't say so. But it's amazing that we conflate financial success or financial well-being with general intelligence. The two have almost nothing to do with each other. If you are a king or you are a rich person who happens to have trusted people who can manage your finances so you don't have to make decisions, then you don't really have to be intelligent. You just have to stamp and sign where they tell you to. So there's no necessity to be intelligent in order to be rich. But we assume, and it's two different skills. It's the accumulation of wealth versus so many other vast fields of different knowledge spheres there are that they have nothing to do with each other. And I say that it's funny that we look up to rich people, but then again, it isn't actually funny. It's not actually weird. It's a plan. When you have enough money to throw at almost anything that you want to, one of the things that everybody wants is to be admired. And part of being admired is having a publicity team that makes everything that you do look good. I mean, the most powerful example that we all know is the Emperor's New Clothes. Everybody assumes that, and they're tricked by the first guy who says it, that if you're smart enough, you'll be able to see it. Nobody wants to call the guy out for being a charlatan. Nobody wants to say that he's a fake. And most of all, the emperor. If this was a poor person who was being tricked by somebody telling him that these clothes are the best, the very first person that he met would tell him, listen, stop being a moron. You have no clothes, you've been cheated. That's it, that's the end of it. But because the person who was cheated was the emperor, well, Of course, you could say that people might lose their life, and of course, the kid at the end of the whole story, we don't know what happens to him. Maybe he's killed. The fact of the matter is, he was the only one maybe stupid enough to be honest. The fact of the matter is that rich people do just as many stupid things as poor people. Across the board, they probably do even more stupid things than poor people, just by virtue of the fact that they can afford to. There are so many kids who probably kept changing majors or were not very good, like, different presidents or even prime ministers that we might want to name, who had no right being at the schools that they were at. And even though they probably didn't do very well at the schools, as we can maybe establish from how they speak and the things that they say, maybe they had someone do their homework for them. But at the end of the day, they were able to get by and present a facade of intelligence because of the fact that anything that they needed to do, that to prove that they were actually intelligent, they could just afford to fake it. And I think it's so unfortunately sad. Another example I wanted to bring up was, for example, and I'm sorry that the only, religious book I know primarily is the Bible, but I remember there's a passage in the Bible where the Israelites they brought to the castle, I think it was the Babylonian leader or whatever, and they were supposed to eat all of this good food. And the fact of the matter is that they told the guy, listen, let us eat what we're supposed to eat. These, ordinary plain food, not lavishly done meals. And at the end of it, we will look better than anybody else. I don't know if they were that forward in saying that they would look better than anybody else, but they asked for it. And that's another thing. We all want to be able to go to all of these fancy restaurants in order to eat this elaborately prepared, processed food. I mean, it's cooked, but so many different things are done to this and that, and so many different ingredients and sugar and butter and this and that and the other. And at the end of the day, it's not really good for you. If you just lived off of the stuff that you picked off of trees or dug out of the ground without any processing or preparation whatsoever, you probably would be a lot healthier. And if you look around at all of these rich people that we aspire to be like, with their huge, stature, meaning the huge guts, why is it, I don't know how many different ways to say it, and I suppose it seems like it's such an obvious thing. There are many things that people do at the end of the day that because it's someone who is famous who is doing it, or someone who is well known that's doing it, or someone who is wealthy that's doing it, that are completely stupid. Cigars and cigarettes. You probably shouldn't smoke, period. Okay? But a cigarette is cheap. It smells bad. But one of those cigarettes, same cigarettes, perhaps a really expensive one on a stick, oh, that's fashionable. Or a cigar, oh, that's fashionable. But a cigarette is cheap and demeaning. They're both not good ideas. But one of them, oh, it looks good. It's so funny that, for example, wearing hats. When you look back at these old shows or old videos and you see a sea of hats, men in hats, and overnight, apparently because of JFK, people just stopped wearing hats. People just had these bits of felt on their head, all of them looking like they bought them at the same place. Why? What was the point of it? And then one man didn't wear a hat. He was prominent enough so that people didn't call him stupid. And then fashions change and everybody changes. It's just And it's no real way to expect that anything would change. Even now, let's say with respect to global warming. But I guess no, not really, because we have a lot of celebrities who are like, hey, let's try to stop global warming, let's try to clean up the planet. But I don't think many of them are doing what they do to stay relevant and famous and in the public eye. None of them are saying, okay, I'm just going to get a driver and drive everywhere I need to go. Or I'm going to be like Greta Thunberg and I'm going to sail wherever I need to go. No, they're all getting on private planes and private jets because it's cool and it looks great, and that's what they're doing. So I remember it's not just our fault for seeing these people and thinking, oh, he must be smart. I remember watching a particular show where there was a member of royalty, and that whole idea of royalty and titles, oh my God. Somebody just simply says, I'm in some way more connected to God than you. It reminds me of a animal farm. You know, some animals are more equal than others. Anyway, the guy came to the United States and he decided that, okay, I'm royalty, but nobody here knows that I'm royalty. I have all this money, but I really would prefer if people knew that I was royalty. He decided to hire a publicist to make sure that people were aware of the fact that he really was royalty. And that's what we have to contend with. That's why we think, as I said, that these people are smarter, because we're told that they're smarter, because when you have and can get anything you want, and one of the things that people want is respect, they have the machinery and the engines and the systems to make us believe that they know what they're doing, that they're smarter, that they're somewhere better than us, when they aren't. So anyway, guys, wish me lucks. So you can like or unlike, you can comment, you can share and or subscribe. Thanks. Peace.